I want to learn how to draw just in 10 days. I know it's not too much, but I've seen a lot of videos like this on YouTube and I believe I can do the same. And actually it's also my dream. As a background, I have not participated in any kind of art school, but I was quite good in art at school. And also I went on some commercial master classes where you had like 4 or 8 hours to draw on oil or watercolor, so I do have a little bit experience, but I haven't drawn like in 5 or 6 years. And also I bought this amazing sketchbook that I want to fulfill in just 10 days. It contains 80 pages, so it means like 8 pages per day. Let's try. Day 1. So I made a mistake. When I say 8 pages, I actually meant 8 sheets. It sounds like shit because it really is. So it was about 16 pages a day and I didn't manage it. I think I did it in just 2 evenings and I had so many emotions during those days, I must tell you. I started with very simple, like everyone should start with simple figures to learn the shades, etc. This is quite boring. Then I continued and it was a still life in the tutorial. And I hated it so much. I hate still life. I even write it here down. I hate still life. Like those leaves you see, they're not that good. I was just playing around. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have any plans. So I was just going with the flow. Or I was just going through all those YouTube recommendations, And then YouTube recommended me to draw an eye and lips. And I realized the second attempt is much better than the first. I mean, it's logical, but also the second tutorials were much better in explanation. Now I carefully choose the tutorial I'm gonna watch and spend my time on it. So then I chose this tiger. I think it was a mistake. I didn't like it. I put a lot of effort in this tiger. I decided to give it another try. Yeah, I decided to draw only animals on the second evening, and they were getting better with each painting, right? And here I was quite desperate drawing this elephant. I was like, I'm not having any progress. I don't understand how to paint correctly. And after I drew this, I was like, oh, that's not bad. I started getting something. I don't know, maybe skills or my arm is getting used to, etc. So my second elephant was even better. Look at this, he's so good. I'm like, wow, maybe I learned something. I don't know what I learned, but I definitely got it. I don't know what I got, but I got it. So my next drawings were quite good, and it's just the second day. And I mean, like, I finished with this dragon at night. It was like 1 a.m. and I'm like, I have to finish it. And it was good. I realized I lack of plan because I'm the kind of person who doesn't like plans that much. But every day I will decide on one topic and I will master my skills in this particular topic. So yesterday it was animals and today I'll probably go on something else. But what? I'll tell you in a second. So day 3, 4 and 5. After being quite successful with animals, I realized that it's time to get to something more difficult, which is human faces. And you know what? My first face was a complete disaster. So this was my first face. I wasn't satisfied with it, so I decided to learn how to draw faces, which probably should be my first step, but I was very ambitious and stupid. Then I drew some more faces here. They're a bit better with shading, etc., but we're still missing something, lack of sense of proportions, etc. So I went on drawing the faces, and this was my last drop of temper. I realized that I cannot do it anymore, and actually on this tutorial a girl says that if you're not very confident, if you're not very satisfied with your work, you should probably focus on particular part of the face like eyes, lips, nose, etc. So I followed her advice and I drew lips, and lips were quite good. I was like, okay, let's try to maybe nose, and noses were also quite good here. So I decided to draw a face again, and it didn't actually work. I don't know why. I can draw it separately quite good, but when it comes to the whole face, it doesn't work. So on the next day, day 4, I was really sad. I'm like, maybe I really miss something. And I was watching another tutorial. A blogger told that if you want to get to realistic faces from cartoon ones, I'm like, oh, I skipped the cartoon faces before going to realism, and this was my biggest mistake ever. So on day 4, I went on drawing anime. Of course, so my first anime was quite cute. I liked it, enjoyed it, watched some more tutorials on anime, but there's no technique. I would say, like, you just play with proportions, you make your eyes bigger, you do not pay attention to nose. I mean, like, you don't even draw it sometimes, or even like mouth. The main attention should be on eyes. They can be big, they can be very small, etc. So it wasn't very difficult. I will say I drew Naruto, which is also quite easy for me, maybe because of lack of colors, but we're still not good at faces, so I decided to draw them again. They're a bit better than my first ones, but still not good enough. I'm missing some important points on perspective, I believe on proportions mostly, and now I'm actually on my day 6, to be honest. I missed a couple of hours, I didn't have enough time, so this is my officially day 6. And I actually started in on day 5 and still continue drawing this upload. And I'm actually already enjoying it. I'm gonna show you some of the techniques I learned during my way. If you're wondering what do I use for drawing, it's actually only a very simple HB pencil, a rubber, eraser, and a blush. It's actually helping a lot to blend, even like a small pencil that gives this very smooth effect. Some of my conclusions on day 6. First of all, it takes time and practice for sure, because look at my last portrait and look at my first one. This is such a huge difference, because now what did I do? I was telling you that I'm missing something, and I realized what I was missing. First of all, the sense of 3D, because with faces and actually everything you draw, it's really important to have this illusion of 3D while you're actually doing 2D portrait. Can you imagine? So it is quite a challenge, and for that you have to use some kind of methods. First of all, shadowing. You have to shadow every single thing, even those little hairs on your head. Can you imagine? This is quite challenging. It takes a lot of time. So more you spend on a portrait, more realistic it will be. And also those circles, they're quite actually useful, but I just didn't find the right tutorial. And you know what? Even if a video got millions of views, it doesn't mean that this video is really helpful. Yeah. Okay, so today is actually day 8. I haven't started it, so let's talk about my first week. What I noticed is that actually when I'm most tired at the end of the day, I have the most beautiful pictures. I mean, like this one was at the end of the day. Yesterday is probably one of my favorite portraits I did during this challenge. When I finished this portrait, I'm like, okay, maybe I should switch to something else. And I was drawing roses and flowers, and when I was drawing flowers, I'm like, let's compare it with the first day when I was trying to draw some leaves, and it's huge difference. You probably don't see it, but I see it, because for example here I wasn't very sure with my line. It is not that good, it is not that, how to say, confident. So now I feel a bit bored, because you know, like 7 days of drawing with only one pencil. Actually it's only half of pencil left. I want today to get to colorful pencils. I think it's my next step. See you tomorrow. So when I wanted to go to colorful pencils, I realized I cannot draw cars and vehicles, so I decided to spend my day on learning how to draw cars. Here you must learn a bit of perspective, and this is quite challenging. So if you've never done perspective drawings, you have to. You can take cities or buildings or cars, so you will learn it, and it is not that easy. So my first car was like nothing really special, and my last car is like very basic. I've seen a lot of TikTokers that do such drawings when they were like 11 or 12, so I'm not proud, but I learned a bit of drawing cars. And on day 9 I went to markers, beautiful markers. They're very cheap, they're very bad at shadowing and blending, but I still wanted to learn it, and I know that cheap it or good quality, etc. It doesn't really matter if you can draw if you're good at it. So this is my first marker drawing. I believe this is awful, and I'm like, I need to learn how to do that. So I spent my whole day learning those shadowing. I realized I have 2 types of markers. One, this one, and another here. And they're very different. They're from different producers, I think. And one is more expensive and it blends better. Another one is very cheap. It doesn't blend at all. You can see it here in the difference between Sun, which is made by probably expensive markers, and this Apple is from very cheap markers that do not blend at all. So I did some of the tutorials from YouTube. It was very fun. I did Pokemons. It was awful. I don't see any progress, and I was so frustrated when I saw my Pokemons in markers. I realized there's something wrong with my skills, so I finished drawing markers with 7-Eleven shop, which reminds me of Thailand, where I spent 4 months, and I really wish to come back there. It is a paradise, honestly. So this one was much better, I believe, because I spend more time on drawing sketches with pencils, and the more details you include in your pencil drawing, the easier it is for you to draw it to paint it. Yeah, so this is my day 9, and today is officially my last day of this challenge. It's day 10, and I already started it by drawing with pencils. I bought Faber-Castell Eco Super Soft pencils. I believe that Faber-Castell must be a very good firm. I've seen it a lot on social media, and this is probably, well, in Argentina you don't have a lot of choices, so this is probably the best choice you have in Buenos Aires. Yep, and I already draw this orange just to test these pencils, do they blend good, etc. It was a bit challenging, so now I will proceed and I'll see you tomorrow. So I completed my challenge. Let's talk about my final day. I was drawing with colorful pencils for the first time, I believe, in my life. I've never tried them before, so it was quite difficult. This was my first drawing of an orange, and I chose like 5 very similar pencils, like yellow to red, so to get used to blending, etc. And this was quite difficult. You need like 10 times to make it smooth. Then I switched to other 2 tutorials on YouTube, and well, I didn't do that right. Maybe I needed more time to blend it, because I hate this. This is not good. So I continued, because I now know that at the beginning you always miss something because you don't have enough skill, and I'm like, okay, I'll give myself another try. So I went and drew this Pokemon, my favorite Dragonite. If you recognize him, for the beginner maybe it's fine, but I was still not really satisfied, and I want to be satisfied at the final day of my challenge, so I drew another one which was quite good in my opinion. This is very popular balloon dog, as you probably seen it You've probably seen it, like an modern artist sold it for millions of dollars. Now every single artist create a drawing with it because it's really cute to show these metal details and refraction, and I'm quite satisfied with it. As for my last drawing of my challenge, and let me remind you my first drawing, it was just simple figures. But now let's talk about my challenge in general. So my first observation was that some of my drawings are very bad, like these Pokemons. They're awful, and the same person drew this. How is it possible? I believe that maybe the main point is to be concentrated and focused. Maybe I was not really paying attention at those Pokemons, but I was really concentrating while drawing those portraits. Like this one is quite good in my opinion. So my first advice for you is to always be focused and to be aware of what you're drawing. So my second advice will be not to redraw someone else's drawings, because another person uses a reference, maybe in real life, maybe from Pinterest, from picture, and he sees quite more details than you. And when you redraw a drawing, you already miss a lot of details that another person misses from his reference. So you get my idea, right? So when I was redrawing someone else's drawings, I was missing a lot of details. I didn't realize why he put this line here, and when I didn't know what that line was for, I didn't put it because I was like, why? And my drawings came out a bit more loose and less detailed. So use a real reference, use a photo and setter, or just go open air. And my third advice is to be more concrete. I didn't have any particular plan, like which medium, what kind of topic, but when you have a topic like people, animals, nature, it is much easier, and for 10 days you can really learn this one topic in one particular medium. So I chose pencil, but then I was quite bored. I decided to draw with markers, and then I was like, maybe let's try one day with colorful pencils. And so I was a bit distracted. And if you want to do this, please choose one medium in one topic if you really want to be good at it. So this was my mistake, so learn on my mistakes. So that's it. If you like my video and maybe my drawings, tell me in the comments. And also if you have any suggestions for young artists who are self-taught as me, please tell us in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. See you later, alligators.